An average day usually consists of making phone calls, of course, conducting appointments, tours, completing enrollments, helping with scheduled testing, scheduling tutoring for the test, getting through financial planning. There's a lot that's involved in a typical day. You could touch on just about everything in one day.
Well, obviously a lot of our business starts with phone calls and reaching out to students. So a lot of phone calls, a lot of correspondence, a lot of text messaging, a lot of emails, a lot of scheduling appointments, meeting with students, working with financial aid. So very diverse every day.
The interview process is going to be different for each individual because everyone has different backgrounds and different stories. Mainly the big portion of the interview is going to be getting to know the students because it's not just about enrolling the student, but it's about getting them walking across the stage for graduation.
I think a lot of times they're unsure about how to reach that goal. So our job is to find out what those obstacles may be, whether that's transportation or testing or fitting it into their work schedule. They have families and children perhaps. So trying to find the best fit for them. We do have entrance testing for our medical program, so that's a barrier as well, that we have to make sure that they're prepared for that.
I work with students that have been out of school for 5 to 10 years. So really, how are they going to adjust in the going back to school environment, especially if they've never been to school? How are they going to adjust to be put in that situation? Mainly is going to be the funding, how they're going to pay for school. Because a lot of people look at those numbers and they're like, how am I going to pay for this? And it's my job to make sure that it's realistic and we come up with different solutions available to help them pay for school. I think that a lot of people think that we just enroll the students and just send them on their way, and that's not the case at all. As an admissions advisor, we recommend the students for acceptance to the university. So literally, I'm with my students from beginning to end. I still talk to my students when I first started, I enrolled my first quarter. I still send them postcards. I think my relationships with the students is in a lot more depth than people really do think, because I'm walking them to enrollment services, I'm walking them to financial aid. I want to make sure that people know that I am their point of contact. Like, I do know the student situation, I know their story, and I'm rooting for the student and trying to help them.
Sometimes we are the only ones. A lot of times students will have support systems, which is great. Sometimes they don't. So, ultimately, we understand what they want. We understand what their difficulties are. So we try to make sure that we're following up and encouraging them and making sure that they have what they need, not only to make the decision but to start school and continue with it. So it's it's up to us too. It's not really in the job description, but at the end of the day, that's really why we're here, to help people.